Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for This Week in Google is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 335, recorded Wednesday, January 13th, 2016. Legislating Twitter. This Week in Google is brought to you by Credit Karma. This year, you may not make it to the gym every day, but you can work out with your credit score with Credit Karma. Get your free credit report at creditkarma.com and see why over 45 million people have joined. That's creditkarma.com. And by Veridesk. Veridesk easily converts your existing desk or cubicle into a standing desk, so you could switch between sitting and standing to stay fit and active at work. Learn more at veridesk.com. That's VARI desk.com. And by NatureBox. NatureBox is dedicated to making smart, delicious snacking easy. They have over 100 ridiculously delicious snacks that get delivered directly to your doorstep. Visit naturebox.com/twit to get 50% off your first box now. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, the show where we cover the latest news from the Googleverse and the Facebook and all of that stuff. And lo and behold, look who's here. Jeff Jarvis from the City University of New York. And the author of, you know what? I was going to bring it out because I have all your books. I realized I have all your books on my bookshelf spread around, so I had a stack. But anyway, What Would Google Do? Public Parts, his latest, Gutenberg the Geek, and Geek-Sparing News.
Aren't you amazing you have this memorized? But you've repeated it about 100 times so nicely.
I have them all. I've read them all. I'm a fan. And, of course, he blogs regularly at buzzmachine.com, so there's a lot more to see.
Irregularly now, I'd say, but that's all right.
You know, I restarted my blog on leoville.com, and I, with all good intentions, posted. This is about 4 posts is typical, right? And then you lose interest.
Yeah, I know. It makes me sad, but I got to figure it out.
Yeah, I have a lot of posts in mind. I know what I want to write. I have the content. I just have to sit down and write. Writing's hard. That's why I have respect for you and Ron Amadeo, who is from Ars Technica.
And when he sits down to write, does he ever write?
What's the longest article you've written on Ars?
History of Android was 40,000 words.
That's a book.
Yeah.
That's a book, isn't it?
Yeah, a small book.
It's a novella.
That's what my editor told me when he had to look through all that. Poor guy.
Wow. Well, anyway, great to have you both talk about Google and the Googleverse. Ron did write, I would say, is probably a fairly lengthy article.
Definitive, I would call it.
And definitive, no less. The 2016 Google Tracker. Not your first time doing this, Ron.
No, usually I do it twice a year before I.O. and at the beginning of the year. So, yeah.
Well, and Google's announced the dates for I.O., by the way, so we now know when you'll be writing your next one.
Yep.
This is everything Google's working on for 2016. And I imagine this has increased in complexity thanks to Alphabet, right?
Yeah, it's way longer than last year's. So yeah, I just try to cover all those little weird satellite companies and everything's Google's doing, and it's interesting how fast they move and how many different projects. And actually, that is obsolete now because Google X isn't Google X anymore.
The minute you press send, it was obsolete. I think.
Yeah, I've done about 6 different versions of that
Jeez
little
Louise.
Graphic while I was making this, and still making more.
What's Google X called now?
Just X.
X.
There's no Google anymore. So the theory is that all the alphabet companies that left Google that still have Google brand names are going to drop the Google brand
They have
names.
to, right? Yeah.
That would make a little more sense. But right now, there's still Google Capital and Google self-driving cars and something else that has a Google brand name, but it's not part of Google anymore.
What you need to do, by the way, is rename the Google Tracker to the Tracker.
Yeah, the Alphabet Tracker. I don't know. Alphabet's scary to put in a title. I don't know
isn't. It's not. Yeah, we're never going to call this show This Week in
weird
Alphabet.
Brand name.
No.
Yeah.
It sounds like Sesame Street.
C is for cookie.
Cookie.
Good enough for me.
Cookie. I think, among other things, there's quite a few things to talk about in here, but one is one that I've been harping on, which is a new messaging app. Goodbye, Google Hangouts, you ask. And we've heard, of course, the Wall Street Journal's reported about chat bots and so forth. But Google does have, or had, Google Talk, G Plus Messenger, Google Voice, Hangouts is their current. And then if you're using Android, there's a Google SMS Messenger. That's at least 5 solutions.
Yeah, I think the plan was to kind of have Google Plus sort of take over all of this, and then Google Plus kind of failed. So now it failed at least as a Facebook competitor. So now they need some kind of messaging solution. But I mean, they've never really given Hangouts the attention that it needs.
It could have been so good.
And yeah, and especially when you've got Facebook buying WhatsApp for however many billions of dollars, and WeChat is so big in China, and Snapchat's worth however many $1 billion. It's like everybody else understands that messaging is this big kind of new social area, as weird as that sounds.
It's more than that. It's a platform, and that's why it's something you can't ignore. If it were just a new social network, big deal. But it's a platform. When you look at what WeChat does, it's as much an operating system as anything else.
Yeah, you can buy stuff through WeChat and everything else. And Google's just so far behind on this, where every other major tech company, other than, like you said, Microsoft, seems to get that messaging is a big deal and invest just so much money in it.
Yeah, we actually were talking on Windows Weekly about that. Microsoft has also missed the ball on messaging. Killed MSN Messenger and replaced it with Yammer on the business side, which has not gone very well, and Skype on the consumer side. And then there kind of is a middle ground, which is Skype for business, none of which are very compelling. And because Microsoft's, and this is an interesting issue, doesn't have a strong mobile play. Windows Phone is not going anywhere. They need to figure something out. And we were thinking maybe Microsoft and Google should join forces. That's the only, in my opinion, the only way you can stop the at this point, the unstoppable Facebook Messenger.
Well, like WeChat and WhatsApp don't really have great desktop clients. Right. So I think Google could do very well if they made something that kind of worked on every device you've got. Because, my big problem with Facebook Messenger is there's really no desktop app. There's really no desktop app for WhatsApp or any of those other things. So for me, it's hard to get those messages sometimes if I'm working on a real computer.
As someone who uses both iPhone and Android, I use Hangouts because that's the most cross-platform solution.
Right. It's
kind of stunted. Well, I don't know. Is it stunted? I can't do animated GIFs. Is that really a drawback?
It can. I think it can now. I think they added that, but it's very. It has very low resources at Google. It's not. Yeah. It's not a favored product over there, and you can definitely feel it. And all the clients are a little bit different, which makes jumping around kind of hard. Yeah. And even for communication stuff, like the emoji set is different on all of them now. Like Android supports new ones, but the desktop app doesn't, and it's super weird. But the new thing, as weird as chatbots sound, it at least is. It kind of sounds like they're taking it in an app direction or like a platform direction where people will be able to make these chatbots, and you'll be able to dig through them, or Google will dig through them and find the good ones. It sounds like they're finally trying to make something that is a platform.
Google should buy Telegram. I don't know if Telegram's even for sale. It's kind of a weird open source / business thing because Telegram has bots. They have all the features that Google would want. They could really benefit from recoding the encryption. I think Telegram is a great alternative that isn't going anywhere by itself because they're by themselves.
No, it's not. Leo, if you go down at the bottom of the rundown under numbers, don't worry, I got plenty. David Marcus, the VP of Messaging Products at Facebook, has a really interesting post, I think, about where he sees it going. And he has 800 million people on Messenger each month. And he has 4 kind of predictions of what he's going to concentrate on.
This is Darth Vader writing about what he plans to do with the Death Star, folks. You should read this.
It is. It is. It's fascinating. I mean, the first one, he predicts this year the death of the phone number. Now, I'm not so sure that's
Facebook's been trying to do this for a long time, right?
I would love it if they get rid of the phone number.
But so did Twitter. Use a name Remember right? Leo Laporte was my phone number, and Twitter wanted this to be the one. Right now, I guess the alternative to the phone number is your email address. But email is not a good messaging platform. It's not as immediate as phone calls. With Facebook Messenger, you can make phone calls, audio, video. You can message. But what they don't have right now, what is your Facebook? Do you know, Jeff, what your Facebook handle is on Messenger? No. What is it?
That's the issue.
So they need to solve that.
Yeah, I think they got to solve it. We have to
need
solve
to know
the
it.
identity space.
You just say type my name into the Facebook search box, and you'll probably have. Oh,
the Facebook search is much better. I mean, Ron Amadeo is not a common name, and there actually are a fair number of Jeff Jarvises. The problem I have is Facebook search. They've been saying it's getting better in bits, but I want to find the Joe Smith who blank to blank to blank. It's still hard to find the right Joe Smith if you're not already friends with Joe. Well,
here I am. This is Messenger. As close as it is right now on the Macintosh for the desktop. If you go to messenger.com, this is a web page. But so if I type Jeff Jarvis, only because I'm following you, I find you right away.
You don't just follow me, Leo. We're friends.
We're friends. But if this is going to succeed, it needs to be. I need to be okay. Look, at number one attribute of any messaging system that would make it killer is I can get to anybody. Because now, if you buy a phone, you expect to be able to dial anybody's phone number anywhere.
That's right. Yeah. And no messaging app today gets that. But what is Facebook? Even if you hear people say, oh, young people don't use Facebook anymore, the one thing I then hear the next sentence is, but every young person has to have a Facebook account. Right. It is the closest thing we have to universal identity.
That's why I use Facebook Messenger. And as much as I hate to, it pains me to admit it, I think it's the winner. But I'm really curious what David Marcus... if he says we're going to replace the disappearing phone number, well, what is the analog in Facebook world? Is it searching for your name? I don't think that's it. Shouldn't there be like a @ Jeff Jarvis and an @ Ron Amadeo that's unique?
Kind of identifier. Yeah.
Yeah, there's vanity URLs you could sign up for.
I have Leo G. Laporte, but I don't think anybody would know that.
Right.
I mean, he points out, too, you don't have to have a Facebook account to use Messenger.
Well, then if you're okay, then how would I use it then? How would I find you?
My head explodes. I guess phone numbers? No, it doesn't.
Yes, no, it is phone.
Yes, phone number. Phone number, right. So then you have to know that. But I don't know anybody's phone. But at the same time, he's saying phone numbers disappear.
Right.
I don't know. The next part of this fascinated me most is the ambition of this is once you have that closest to universal service, he says threads are the new apps. And we're thinking how you help you interact with businesses or services to buy items, order rides, purchase airline tickets, talk to customer service in truly frictionless and delightful ways, though I've never had a delightful experience with customer service, Dave. I've just got to say here.
But you know what would be delightful? Not having to talk to customers.
Amen.
And by the way, for $100 an hour, you can have a personal assistant using a messenger app do it for you.
Yep.
And I think you're going to see more and more of that as well. And that's the whole platform aspect.
It's about $500 an hour to deal with Verizon, but
they charge it premium. Surge pricing has kicked in. So threads, what does he mean by threads when he says threads are the new apps? Is that a message thread?
There isn't an app. Yeah, I guess there's a thread.
I agree. I mean, I agree. Yeah.
And it carries a history, he says, of your interaction with that company. So the problem is when I was going through my Verizon hell that I recounted, don't worry, I won't do it again, last week, they would lose the thread constantly. Oh, yeah, I'll make a note of that in the file. BS. Found nowhere. And now you have a demonstrable string.
That's why Slack is so huge in the enterprise, because you have a record.
Yes, that's true.
And it's better than email. I mean, email you have a record too, but it seems somehow better than email. Searchability, very important. Google could do well, but you know what has happened here is that Dave Marcus, VP of Messaging at Facebook, has given Google a roadmap.
Yeah.
Here's
but
what
Google doesn't have the identity structure there. Now, by the way, it says that brands are showing that interactions will happen more and more in your Messenger threads. Have you ever interacted with a brand on Messenger?
No, I don't want to.
I haven't either.
No, you can do that. I mean, what? You're friends with Verizon?
No.
And, like there's no way to delegate this. Like there's one Facebook login that Verizon has, right? That all the messages go to this one dude.
No, they'll believe me. Facebook will figure this out.
How do you keep messaging from going down the same road email went? Email was all of this and great, and then because there was so much of it and so many, and you were. The problem with email is anybody can send you an email. As soon as anybody can send you a message, how do you keep this from becoming email?
As long as if it becomes sender controlled, it's doomed. Doomed. If it's recipient controlled, that's where Google Plus. Remember Google Plus? That's where Google Plus had an advantage. This is the Mike Elgin argument about no spam, is because it was recipient controlled, but it wasn't universal. Lord knows.
Right. So Google had a plan.
Yeah, they had an architecture to beat them, but we need to I mean, we're saying messaging is taking over the world. Messaging is taking over the world. Well, yeah, but it's not really thought out yet.
No, and it could end up just like email, which was the last thing to take over the world.
It could. I mean, a permissioned messenger system with universal identity we don't have.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, the phone wasn't that because, of course, you could get junk calls, and that's why legislation was then enacted to get rid of that. So it was sender-controlled to that extent, but the recipient-controlled to the extent that you could decide not to answer the number.
Right. Do you want to go to Verizon or Comcast and have a persistent conversation with them living in your messaging app? No, I don't think so.
And a little bubble showing up. How you doing today, Jeff? You want to buy another service? No.
Yeah, that's spam.
I'm trying to buy the car, as you know, on the show. And I went and did the Costco and the USAA car thing. So now I'm getting I'm not ready yet, folks. I'm not ready.
You opened it up.
Non-stop calls. Non-stop emails. Yeah. So no, you don't want to open up to brands where they have the control of the communication. No.
Ron, what do you use do you do messaging?
I mean, I'm kind of forced to use Facebook Messenger because that's what people kind of contact me on. But
everybody's going to be on that.
Yeah, I try to use Hangouts as much as possible. I prefer that.
And that's because you're an Android user, and Hangouts makes a lot of sense for Hangouts for
Android.
It's
not just that. It's I have a Mac and a Windows desktop, and I can get Hangouts on all of that stuff as a background app that runs everywhere.
Yeah.
And when you message me on Hangouts, all of my devices beep, and sometimes that's like 15 devices depending on how busy I am right now. Where Facebook Messenger, because I'm not automatically logged into it because it's not on any of my desktops, like one phone somewhere beeps. And I'm a lot slower to respond to Facebook Messenger than anything else.
Hangouts right now is a Chrome widget, which means you have to have Chrome running for Hangouts to work on your desktop. Should they make a standalone app?
No. So the two different Chrome extensions that are there run in the background. So you can
even if Chrome's not running.
Right. Even if a Chrome window is not running. Chrome, if it's on your computer, is usually running all the time.
That's your computer. But if I close Chrome, I don't get Hangouts messages.
Yeah, you will if you install the extension.
If you have if you install the extension,
one of the extensions.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
there's also a Hangouts website. There's also hangouts.google.com, and it's in Gmail. And is it still in Google Plus?
It is in Gmail.
It used to be in Google Plus.
But I feel like they need a native app for these platforms as well. I like having a native app.
Google doesn't have a native app for anything.
I know. They don't go that way.
There's just Chrome, and
that's
Chrome
not how
is
Google
the platform
rolls.
that they build on now.
I really like Telegram still, and I wish that Google would buy them.
So Google tried to buy the company behind the Telegram chatbot service, which is called 200 Labs.
Yeah.
And don't Google that because you won't find anything. I tried. But they tried to buy that company, and they said no. So
it's
it's
the Mark Zuckerberg of Russia that started this. He was chased from Russia.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy.
Yeah. Pavel Durov, Durov.
He kind of lives nowhere now, I think.
Yeah. Well, because basically Putin forced the sale of his company to the government, but he got some money out of it. He founded the social network site VK. And then he and his brother, it was a mathematician, created Telegram. And I can't remember what country Telegram's out of. It's not out of Russia. None of them they're not in Russia anymore. Vkontakta.
Vkontakta, yeah.
Vkontakta. So some people might say, well, I don't really trust a guy who, has connections with Putin. But I think
it's the opposite.
I think it's the opposite, yeah. Because the Russian Federal Security Service said you must hand over personal details of users. He said no.
There's not much of a future in that. Yuri Milner, if I'm correct, I think Yuri made his beginning of his fortune with Mail.ru and Vkontakta. I think he was a Pavel mentor, as I remember, and Yuri, I think, is also out of Russia.
So interesting. So Telegram, which I think really is mostly run by his brother Nikolai, said no to Google.
It's the company. It's 200 Labs, which is the company behind Telegram's chatbot service or technology or something.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
right. They do the chatbots. That's not Telegram.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember reading that. By the way, Telegram's open source, so anybody can write a Telegram client, which is another brilliant move. Mm-hmm. Telegram could be the next Android, and I could really easily see Google snapping it up and saying, all right, we got a platform.
That'd be interesting. Well, but Leo, this all gets superseded. You know what takes over it all?
What?
Peach.
Peach is so last week.
Yeah. Isn't it?
And so I really, for about 10 minutes, was excited about Peach. I thought, finally something that can kill Twitter. And I decided not. I said I must have been drunk. Hangouts is good if Google put all of its efforts behind it. I'm sad that they killed the XMPP, the Jabber backbone that was for Google Talk, because, well, maybe I'm not technical enough to understand the issues with it, but it was my feeling that had some real future as a standard. The reason I care about this is because if Facebook is about to win, and we've talked about this before, I think Dave is, saying, here's what we're going to do.
But I mean, Messenger is successful because it got built into Facebook. It kind of got that bump of of initial users, and whatever Google builds could do the same thing just by building it into Android and into Gmail and all that stuff, which everybody hates on Google Plus for doing. But if you want to win messaging right now, that's what you have to do. You have to say, we're just going to push this out to all our users and hope that they use
make
it.
So
whatever
strong,
the new thing is,
and make a strong Apple client, an iOS client.
Yeah,
because you got to work on iOS too. This is the mistake, the fundamental mistake Apple's making, which is that because their Messenger client is Apple only, they can never win.
Yeah,
BlackBerry, man.
BlackBerry. They thought BBM was going to do it.
They thought they had it. They thought they'd win. Yeah, and in certain small groups they did, but they didn't win the big thing.
Let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about Remix, because you talk about Android everywhere. We've been talking for a long time about the Pixel C and how Google kind of fumbled what could have been a world-changing product. We continue with the roadmap for 2016, the 2016 Google Tracker, Ron Amadeo at Ars Technica. You want to follow along in the playbook, go to arstechnica.com. And Jeff Jarvis is here. Our show today brought to you by Credit Karma, a free app that is going to tell you something very important, a number that counts a lot, more than your weight, more than your blood pressure, it's your credit score. CreditKarma.com. 45 million people have now joined CreditKarma.com because they need to know their credit score. Your credit score is what determines everything. Many of the websites that offer credit reports are confusing, and worse, come with fees, hidden fees. I went to one that said it was free. It wasn't. Credit Karma does things differently. They offer truly free credit reports with no strings attached and no credit card required. They couldn't charge you if they wanted to. They don't just show you a score and send you away. They actually break it down so you can see what actions have affected that score, what things you could do to improve it. And to make their services even easier to access, they have the free mobile apps on iOS and Android. 45 million members turn to Credit Karma to check their credit score. Why aren't you, is the question. This is free, as in it costs nothing free. Credit Karma. Get it right now on your phone, or go to creditkarma.com to find out more. You may not get to those ab crunches in your New Year's resolution, but this is a good one that'll help you feel more comfortable and confident about your financial fitness. Get your free credit report today. creditkarma.com. We were playing before the show, and I guess I should show it with this thing that just came out, Remix OS. And you have a piece of hardware, Ron, that they sent you that runs Remix OS, but you can download it from JIDE, I think, .com, and install it on a USB key and then run it on any laptop. They say some Macs, some Windows boxes. On my Dell, I'm running it on a Dell, but I had to, in order to get it to work on the Dell, turn off UEFI and secure boot and all of that. Now it's gone to sleep.
Yep. Yeah, you need a 64-bit computer and a bunch of weird other settings that might work and might not. It's based on the Android x86 project, which has been going on for a really long time. And
is that a Google project, or is that a open source?
It's a big open source project. Yeah. It actually started before the whole official Intel support thing started from Google.
Yeah.
So if you go there is a hardware compatibility list, which should apply to most of Remix as well. But apparently the little tiny box that I got has a lot of differences.
Yeah.
There's a lot of differences between that software and the software that you can download.
I don't have Google services, for instance, on this.
Right, yeah, the biggest of which is apparently all the Google apps. And you can't change your resolution, and I totally could.
But that's not really the point. This is not, and they even say it on the website. Look, don't expect a usable operating system. But what's interesting is they're showing a very clear path to making Android a desktop operating system, something that, for instance, would really be great on the Pixel C, Google. In fact, that was the first thing you asked, Jeff, is can I put it on my Pixel C?
Yeah.
But you can't, because this is an ARM device, and that's really x86. It's designed for x86. But there's no, I suspect that that's what Google was working on, and they couldn't get going in time to get it out for the C. Right, Ron? I mean, wasn't that the rumor?
The rumor is they want to merge Chrome and Android and kind of turn Android into a desktop operating system. And Remix is kind of a third party's idea of what that would look like.
With menu bar and
keyboard. Yeah, it's designed for a mouse and keyboard, though, and the Pixel C has no mouse.
Right.
So as much of a wonderful dream as that would be, it would probably not be that great.
I don't know if you'd need a mouse.
You can plug an external mouse into the Pixel C.
Yeah. You could use a mouse, but I think touch does everything a mouse would do, doesn't it? Because right-click is long press.
The big advantages are things like selecting text and just whenever you're typing and want to fiddle with whatever sentence.
It's easier with a mouse.
It's horrible with touch, and with a mouse, it's really nice. And Remix adds some of that to some of the Google apps. It turns out that all the Google apps and most other Android apps all implement text fields in different ways. So you get all sorts of wacky consistencies where sometimes you'll get that little eye-shaped mouse cursor thing that blinks and you can highlight text. And then some of them, it just works like a finger tap and you don't get the fun mouse highlighting. So it's a really weird operating system. What's wrong with it? Is it broken?
It went to sleep and I can't wake it up.
Yeah, so the box would do that too, and you just have to kill power and start it over from scratch. So pull the battery, see if that works. Can you pull the battery in that thing?
No.
Hold down power
That's
forever.
memories. You can't do that anymore.
No, I can do it. I just press the off switch.
Yeah.
Oh, see, something comes up, but that's all I see, and now I'll just power down and reboot.
So,
I'm booting off of a
is,
USB key, so this is not the.
But this is the story of Remix OS. It is not super stable. It's not really done. It's very hacky, but it's fun to play with for a few minutes.
Yeah, I don't think it's a product, but it's kind of more. This shows the way.
Yeah,
I think
right
for
now
what
I'm
a desktop
carrying,
Android could be.
I'm about to go out of town, and so I'm now stupidly carrying the Pixel. Which one do I have here? The Pixel C. At the same, so I have Android
and a Chromebook,
and the little Asus flip so I have a Chromebook because sometimes when I'm working on text or something, you need the Chromebook. But this little one is slow. But I don't really want to carry my huge Chromebook Pixel for 10 days out of town. And it's driving me nuts as to which one am I using now and why am I using it and switching back and forth. And I haven't come to any grand conclusions yet. But it's frustrating that these two OSs are coming closer together, but there's still a gulf between them.
Well, Android really isn't a desktop suitable for desktop work.
Yeah,
that's really
one of the things I found interesting when I tried that out is like on an Android tablet, when you have a phone app, it's like it really sucks. You're like bummed out, and there's this giant phone app that stretches out sideways, and it's a big pain to use. But when you have a windowed operating system, if you have a phone app, it's not that bad because the phone app just sits in a little box this big,
right? And
you just kind of use it at the because it's the size it was intended to be. Using it is not the agony that an Android tablet is. So,
hey, if Facebook's right and it's the end of the phone number, it's probably the end of the phone. And
you still need a personal communication device,
right?
Regardless of what you want to call it.
Yeah, it's a personal communicator. It doesn't have to be phone size. A Pixel C could be your personal communicator, especially if we go wireless, which Apple's going to push forward because apparently they're removing the headphone jack from the next iPhone. So all your headphones and everything will be wireless. That means if you've got it now, you all need to carry a man purse, all you men, because you need to carry bigger devices in your carry-all and have your earbuds or your wearable, or I guess it could be your watch or your
Google
I mean,
Glass. As somebody that's had Bluetooth headphones for years and years and prefer them, the one sucky thing is that they're all huge because they take batteries, and you got to charge them all the time because they take batteries.
Right.
So, your typical pack-away stuff goes from, instead of having a little corded headphone, you've got to bring your bulky headphones and the charger for them, and the charger for your phone, and the charger for your laptop. And yeah, it's rough. We need USB-C everything.
We're getting there. Yeah. We're getting closer and closer.
Well, that's the other thing. So now carrying power on this trip, it got more complicated again. I mean, it's headed in the right direction.
Yeah, but
for a while,
it's
a pain.
What you need is what I have here. I showed this on MacBreak Weekly. This is from a company called Zolt. Z-O-L-T. I can't remember the website is Get Zolt or something like that. This is a charger, very compact charger that comes with, they don't have, I don't know if they have a USB Type-C connector, but it is a laptop charger that's capable of 65 watts. Ooh. And then it has two additional smaller USB, so you could charge everything from this. So you could have a USB-C cable coming off of this. They sent it. I didn't buy it. They sent it with a Mac compatible laptop charger. So you plug that in. You're charging your Mac.
Oh, is that MagSafe?
Yeah, they offer MagSafe tips.
Oh wow. Oh, that's super not legal, I'd imagine. Apple.
No, I'm sure they licensed this. This looks licensed.
Okay.
I know Apple doesn't. I know. I've never seen one do this.
Like it's so hard to get MagSafe. I love MagSafe. I'm really bummed that they put USB Type-C on the new MacBooks. But it's really hard to get MagSafe stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
I always end up getting it on eBay from China.
Right, like illegal MagSafe.
Yeah. Yeah, illegal fire hazard.
Which is kind of like an illegal man purse. That's the other one. So this you plug in. Now it's not going to charge your MacBook as fast as a Apple charger will, because it's only, I think, 65 watts. But and if you have, it's total. So if you have, but you could trickle charge a phone. You could do a tablet. So that's what you need, Jeff. And it's pretty compact. And then it all wraps up into a little thing. And what you need is a USB-C cable as well.
That's got to stick really far out of whatever electrical socket you plug it into.
Yeah, but it rotates, which is nice. So you can manage to get it somewhere.
Okay, but can it not stick like a foot out of the wall or however long that is? Because just a lot of the planes and hotel rooms and stuff that I end up on, that would be in the way. I want like a wire at the end of it that I can plug in, and then the little box can dangle somewhere.
Just bring an extension cord with you.
Yeah, bring a little extension cord.
Little extension cord with you. This isn't that far. This is 4.5, 5 inches.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, this is kind of cool, huh? It's $100. It's the Zolt. So you go like that. That's not too far out. That could sit on the wall.
So with a USB-C, I could charge my new Pixel?
Yeah.
Wow.
And your phone. And your Google Glass.
That was cruel. It was mean of you.
Your phone, your laptop, your headphones, your watch, your Google glasses.
Yeah. You need more. You need more of these.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it's all going to go Type C, and then it'll be easier.
Yeah.
Life will be, because that's a standard. You know, this is the really silly thing. This comes from the era when you had to have different tips for every laptop. See, so it comes with like 10 tips.
Yeah.
These little silly tips. And then a special kind of cable that goes into the tips. It's really crazy.
Oh, God, I remember those days.
Remember that?
Oh.
Type C, please. Please. And the Asus takes what? Takes a special plug?
It takes a special plug that looks
no.
like a USB, but it's not.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know if I think they'll have a tip for it. And then if they did, then this would be a good solution for you. I love Chrome OS, and I think that Android could be I mean, this remix kind of gave me renewed vigor around the idea of a desktop Android.
Yeah, it's coming. They're making it.
You say that in the roadmap. You say 2017, but you say they will do this.
Yeah, the preview version is supposed to be out this year. I would guess it happens at Google I/O, where they say, here's the desktop stuff that we have so far, and developers are kind of going to need to wrap their head around it and start making desktop apps, and they'll hopefully get feedback, because that's kind of the pattern now, where Google comes up with this new thing and they release it at I/O and everybody gets to play with it for 6 months in a developer preview. Like, I think they've realized that secrecy is not super important anymore, and they're more interested in having a beta and getting stuff right.
Sundar Pichai made the announcement. He says, iOS 16 coming to the neighborhood where it all started 10 years ago. Shoreline Amphitheater.
So it wasn't going to be tense?
I was hoping to talk to you about this, Leo, as someone from California. Have you ever been to?
Oh, yeah, many times. It's a concert venue. They got a nice lawn area. Okay,
so how does food work? How does hotels work? Well, because if you look on Google Maps, for everybody else, there's a Shoreline Amphitheater, and then it's like Google all around it, like just thousands of buildings, and then above it is the ocean. And it's like, I don't know, it's like trying to get stuff done in the middle of Disneyland or something. And the
hotels on the peninsula are few and awful.
Well, it's not the city by any means. It would be fine for a keynote, because it's a big venue. I mean, you can, I don't know, 10,000 people. I don't know. I'll have to look up.
Okay.
But it doesn't have conference facilities.
So all those breakouts, will that be back at the Google campus maybe?
Yeah, it would have to be.
That's probably what I'm thinking, is that, what is that?
But
there's the amphitheater. See, in the nice lawn area.
22,000, well, I guess including the lawn, 22,500.
That's including the lawn, yeah, 22.5.
6,500 reserved seats, 1,600.
That's probably what they'll use. And maybe they'll set up table. No, but the lawn's sloped.
And then above that is
what about rain?
And from there south all the way down to like the highway is just nonstop Google buildings. And they're all high security because they're Google buildings. Like you can walk around outside. But
well, maybe the parking lot. I don't know. I don't know how they do the breakout stuff.
Yeah. So the theory, since it's like a semi-outside venue, the theories is like, the Willy Wonka factory will be in full effect, and they'll have self-driving cars come out and get you, and you'll go to the venue, and they'll have all these drones.
Oh, I want a golden ticket. Oompa loompa.
Yeah, just that it's outside. The theory is there's going to be lots of car stuff, lots of drone stuff.
That's I like that theory.
Which, I mean, they could make all that stuff electric and do it at Moscone too. I don't know. But the car theory is interesting.
May 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Well, that's longer than usual, right?
No, 3 days.
It's 3 days now. It used to be, it was 3, and then it went to 2, and now it's back to 3 again. So it's slightly longer, which is cool.
And of course, tickets will be hard to get. They haven't announced how that's going to work yet.
Ridiculous, even a week before we're not sure what's going to be announced. But nonetheless, Ron, you've suggested one thing that's going to be done at Google I/O. What else do you think might be coming at Google I/O? What's percolating?
Oh, this is going to be a good year for I/O, don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I/O lately has really turned into the Android show. So they will have a new version of Android. I think it's just a question of whether it is Android N, which they keep talking about, or this Android Chrome hybrid, or if they're the same thing. Like I said, I think the Chrome Android version comes out at I/O because that's what the Wall Street Journal report said. It's like it's coming out in 2016.
Oh, and I/O makes sense.
That means the end of the year.
Because you want to get people developing for it before you ship it.
And then you want to have a bunch of talks about how to do all this new desktop stuff. And it's not just, it's all this logistical stuff they want to talk to developers about. So they can tell them how to implement a right-click menu correctly.
But Sundar Pichai was the Chrome OS guy. Why would he? I mean, if you make an Android desktop, doesn't that? I mean, it's Chrome. You're going to merge them, right? Or what? I don't understand.
Yeah, the idea is you take the sort of the best of Chrome and Android and mash them together. Hopefully, that means they work on a ground-up revamp of Android where they fix the update situation and all of that stuff. And mostly it's Android attacking a new form factor, which is the PC. I mean, they've already got it running on phones and tablets and cars and watches and televisions. So going to PCs seems like a pretty obvious step when it runs on everything else on Earth. And then other than that, this is the first I/O since the whole Alphabet thing happened. So who knows who else wants to show up to the party, or if they want to do Alphabet I/O.
So that's not a Google.
Well,
That's a question. Is it a Google I/O? Sundar Pichai announced it.
This is Sundar announced it. This is by Google alone. Everything else is a separate company.
Yeah, and mostly everything else is not a commercial product. Like there's Nest, and then everything else is investments in super deep research. And but they might have some people show up just to no announcements, but show up to just wow the journalists and developers.
I think we'll have breakout sessions in self-driving buses.
Yeah, there's always like bartending robots and all this other weird stuff there that I'm sure people. Oh, robots! There we go. All the Boston Dynamics stuff. They could have their little robot dogs.
Would you like to ride a dog back to your breakout session?
Yeah, with like their 2-stroke gasoline engines. It sounds like. Yeah, that'll be great. Nice and peaceful.
And why hasn't, F8 is really more of a developers
Facebook's conference,
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, that's because Facebook is a software company.
Is purely a software company. So what made Google I/O different? Was it the fact that there was hardware?
And they were giving it away.
Different in terms of what?
Just the kind of excitement and press that happens around it. I mean,
physical stuff's always more interesting. Notice that all the coverage is always of the stuff in the lobby, the physical.
Yeah, you get pictures of it.
Software is so abstract; it's really hard to talk about.
I mean, it's a cool strategy where you kind of
there's the dog.
You get developers excited about everything that's happening, and then at the same time say, "Oh, you're excited about this? You can learn about how to do it right now. Like make an app, make your app today."
Yeah,
that they can do all that, but also just that they invite the press. I mean, Google had the Ubiquity conference this week. About the Internet of Things, and they talked about Weave and Brillo and all that other stuff, and nobody cares because they didn't invite the press or really hype it up or
we didn't even cover it.
Yeah, and it was a hardcore developer conference. Like it was streamed online. You can watch it. It's like nitty-gritty tech details. Like Google has for real developer conferences all the time, and they have design conferences now too. But just I/O is the Super Bowl, and It's cool to have a show like that, but it's not the only developer show.
Tell us about Timeful.
Timeful was what was that? It was something that they acquired.
It was a AI calendar AI.
Oh right, yeah.
Company.
Okay, so this thing would scan your schedule And so you would tell it what you want to do. Like, I want to work out 3 times this week. And it would look at your schedule and
make it so.
Say, you have time here, here, and here where you could do your workouts.
God, I would hate that.
I can't imagine.
I have enough people nagging me to do things I haven't done.
You know, Leo,
no.
You really could be working out right now.
But also the idea that my entire life is in my calendar, which it is not. The important stuff is in my calendar. I get mostly the work stuff is in my calendar. But if it's like, I'm going to go to dinner with a friend, like, I don't need to put that in a calendar. I'm going to remember. And it's like this, it takes this weird view of the world where your entire life is in your calendar. And I think for most people, that's not true.
No, you're right. It's in my messenger.
Yeah. If it could scan that and figure stuff out.
We're looking
at
the
my calendar with a couple of colleagues so they can.
I do that. Lisa has my calendar. Yeah.
So I put it so my colleagues came in the other day and said, well, you have this thing that's going on for 5 days, like the FUBU thing with it. I said, what the hell are you talking about? Oh, my calendar's not there. And I realized there's that horrible thing where people can put something on your calendar without your permission. And I turned that off. But now there's stuff appearing on my calendar to other people that I'm not actually doing.
Yeah, a lot of times Google will scan your Gmail now and say, oh, someone invited you to this, so we put it on your calendar for you. You're welcome. And sometimes
so automatically add invitations to my calendar. And I said, no, only the invitations I responded to. However, it was showing them to other people.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's weird. So what app was that? Because Gmail does it, and I'm sure there's like a Google. I'm sure there's multiple things that do that. Knowing
the thing is,
Google.
I can't see it because it's not me. Anyway. Jeez.
So the thing on this list I'm excited about is the virtual reality stuff, which they just announced.
They they reorged around it, didn't they?
Yeah, they just kind of made the division official, and they have a guy running it now, or a different person running it. I don't know. Somebody was running it before.
Yeah. Is it John Wiley who is...
He's in the division.
He's on the team.
That's the thing about it. So Google does Cardboard today, which really seems like a joke. I mean, it's a product, but it just seems like it's not a really serious product that anybody's ever going to fall in love with. But the amount of people working in the Google VR team is really just stunning. Like the MVPs of Google have kind of left to go work on this. So John Wiley, who used to run Google Search, he used to be the lead designer for Google Search. So Google Search is like, 1 billion users every day. You leave that to go work on a piece of cardboard. And then Alex Faaborg, I don't know how to say his last name, but he was the lead developer for Firefox, or the lead designer for Firefox, and was a designer on Chrome. And he left to go work on the virtual reality team too. And it's like all these people aren't going to leave their super awesome jobs where they deal with millions of users every day to go work on like a weird side project.
So and then Clay Baver, who is VP for product management. He was the guy in charge of Gmail, Drive, and Docs. He, as you said, also oversaw Google Cardboard. So he's going to be all about VR.
Yep, and then the one report
Diane Green is now getting the apps division. She's a relatively newcomer.
She's from VMware.
Oh, interesting.
And she was going to run their enterprise. They want to make like a new enterprise division or something where all their cloud services end up under one thing. Nobody really knows what's going on with that yet.
According to Recode, Google's suffering from FOMO, the fear of missing Oculus.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. I feel like Microsoft, Google, Facebook with Oculus all have been working on VR for some time. I think Google Cardboard was a clever strategy because it popularized it. But now Google has an official VP for virtual reality. And I think that the problem is Google shifts its gaze all the time. And it's hard to say, oh, now they're really going to be in it. Because
it's just the people working there are really important, though. And I don't know. Fear of missing Oculus is interesting because I picture Oculus as a hardware company. And this Google division is going to be really focused on software. I think there's been a Wall Street Journal report from a long time ago that said these guys were all building an Android a version of Android for virtual reality. So kind of the virtual reality operating system, where right now with an Oculus Rift and all that other stuff, you kind of bounce in and out of you have your mouse and keyboard and you start the Oculus app and then you put your headset on and then you go into your virtual reality world. But there's really nothing that lets you live in virtual reality or do productive stuff or anything like that. You just bounce in and out from one video game to another, really. And
have you seen those? Sorry, Ron. Go ahead, finish. Sorry.
To have Google do software would just be important, I think, because nobody's doing the software right now. And I think that's what Cardboard is. It's a developer kit to say this is what VR is like, and this is the kind of stuff you can build, get used to it, and something better will come out later.
Well, and Bavor has pointed his tweets about the CNN story about the surgeon using Cardboard. I don't know really. I mean, he saved a baby's life, but we've seen this actually in other. We had a guy on the new Screensavers who makes 3D models of infant hearts so that a doctor can practice the operation, play with the operation, study the heart before he goes in. And this is kind of a similar application because they were able to look at the surgery ahead of time. They could kind of understand where they were going and not be surprised. He's also wearing a Fitbit gear, and it's obviously a very geeky doctor here.
Yeah, but I mean, you're seeing the picture of the heart right now on a 2D screen. That looks fine. I mean, I'm no doctor, but I don't see it being in 3D.
Well, they're going to go in and under and around vessels and
He's
stuff.
He's got to have a map of it in his mind. I mean, this is complex.
That's what this
stuff.
is, yeah.
Yeah, but can you just do that by rotating the flat image around? Does it need to be stereoscopic?
Well, as I said, we also learned of making a 3D model is very helpful because they can, I'm going to go in here and do it like that. I think that'd actually be more useful than a Google Cardboard.
I'm terrible at spatial relations and pulling things out, which is why you never want me to do an operation on you.
I feel like this story, as wonderful as it is almost a plant from Google. It's like, look, see Cardboard. It's not just a toy.
Well, I'll give you a better. I just put in the chat on the rundown a better use. I don't know if I mentioned this in the show a few weeks ago or not. Lowe's, the home improvement place, has cardboard vending machines because you can see that if here's what your redesigned kitchen will look like, and you really want to have a sense of it around. That makes sense. Cardboard is about spaces and things that make sense with spaces.
That's really cool. So the other thing Lowe's did actually is they have a Project Tango app that does the same thing, but with Tango, because it has all of these lasers and measuring things on the front of it, it's augmented reality. So you see your kitchen, and then you see the refrigerator in your kitchen at the right size, and how much space it'll take up. And I assume you can open the door and see how much space all that'll take up. And that's a really cool idea that's like actually useful.
Here's something interesting. Jason Cleanthus, our producer, pointed out to me from the Google developers blog. Spatial audio comes to the Cardboard.
And isn't this part of the solution to the barf problem?
Maybe
audio is that if it comes from someplace else from where you expected, it becomes very disorienting.
Right.
Whereas if the audio gets tied to a space as you look around and it starts to match with your ear, I think that's part of the problem, the barf problem.
Does Cardboard make you nauseous in the same way that an Oculus does?
I've never had an Oculus on, but Cardboard, I get a little wonky after using it.
Yeah, I don't.
Cardboard, it's hard to get nauseous in Cardboard because it has no head strap, so you have to do this the whole time.
That's to me.
And you get real tired of that after a few minutes.
Yeah, but that's the solution to me. Is it's not as immersive.
I get wonky.
You do? Okay.
I don't get nauseous, but I get for about 5 minutes afterwards. I'm kind of trying to get my bearings.
Yeah,
it's doing something to my vertigo.
Yeah.
So so the 3D audio thing, Google bought a company called Thrive Audio a couple of months ago. So I guess that's what this is. But again, this is more kind of software platform building, all this stuff. Like if you want an SDK for virtual reality, there's really not a lot of stuff out there. And Google, I'd imagine, I saw the headline for this. I haven't really read it, but I'd imagine it's a bunch of SDK stuff where it's like, oh, you want to do 3D spatial audio? Okay, we'll handle all the hard stuff where you just, stick the dot on wherever you want your audio to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll kind of send that to you. So all of that hard platform stuff, I'd imagine Google's working toward.
And there is an app. There's a demo app that you can sideload.
For Cardboard?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to hear how it sounds, you can.
So the other fun thing for all this virtual reality and augmented reality stuff is Google's going to make processors for all of this, like smartphone processors. A report from, I'm going to guess, the Wall Street Journal. Oh, no, The Information. Okay, so it says that Google's, they've gone to chip vendors with kind of these designs for SoCs, and they're like, please build this. It's for augmented reality. Because right now a smartphone chip is really not going to work out for VR, or like you can get a Gear VR and stick a Samsung smartphone in your little goggles.
Which I have done and I like.
But it does not work. It could work a lot better because smartphone processors are made for bursty applications where like you want to take the processor and spike it and load your app really quickly and then come back down for battery savings. Where on VR you're going to want to run at full power for a much longer time without overheating and throttling and all this other heat and power related issues that you get on a smartphone. So Google's kind of going to go to these chip companies and make something that's made to be a gaming / VR / 3D device that today's smartphone chips really aren't.
So let me ask you a related question that's not on the rundown. Why is Amazon going into the chip making business?
Amazon, I guess for their Kindle stuff. I have no idea why they want to make these
Kindles?
things. I mean,
is it servers? I mean, is it? I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. Why that? I mean, is there nothing Amazon can't do? Run newspapers?
It was that they were selling stuff, wasn't it? Were they selling it was like they were going to sell branded ones.
I could tell you, Apple has a huge benefit because it makes its own chips. They can customize the chips to be very targeted to the use cases. They're still using ARM. And in fact, Apple was an early investor in ARM. But by having chip designers, and they have reputedly more than 1,000 chip designers on staff at Apple, they can make a chip that is purpose-built for the hardware. Amazon has some great ambitions.
Okay, so it says that they're designed for
still
Wi-Fi
ARM
routers,
chips.
media streaming devices, connected home products, data storage gear.
I mean, I don't...
Okay.
Yeah,
so
they
they're
bought an
supplying-
Israeli company called Annapurna Labs.
Right.
And Annapurna Labs is making these. So maybe it's just
so
another
this is
business. I don't know.
It's more Internet of Things stuff than smartphone stuff. That's
Right.
interesting. So, I mean, they make it's Alexa. No, the Amazon Echo.
The Echo is kind of the surprising kind of dark horse product for 2015 that really is going strong and might be even bigger in 2016. They're reputedly making a handheld size Echo.
Okay, yeah, maybe it's a
Portable
smartphone
Echo.
play then, where they want to make. Maybe they want to make. This all seems like really cheap stuff that they want to build. So maybe it's like door locks and all of this weird Internet of Things. I don't know.
It's very interesting. I love it that we have people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk dreaming big dreams. Why not? And maybe some people at Google are doing that too. The problem is you get to be a big company, and the Elon Musks of the world don't want to work there, right? They want to. They just go start their own thing. Must be challenging for a company like Google to keep the innovation.
Well, yeah, that was part of the plan for Alphabet, where they can,
Right.
like they just got this.
We'll give you a company.
To join. Yeah, and
We'll give
like,
you a
you can
company.
be a CEO now, but you don't have to have investor calls.
That's not going to
and
fool
we'll just
anybody.
give you money.
It ain't going to fool anybody. Let's take a break and come back with more. Ron Amadeo is here from Ars Technica. He covers the Android beat and the Google beat, and we're talking about his roadmap for 2016 for Google. Jeff Jarvis is also here, professor of journalism and long-time Google watcher. According to Eric Schmidt, AI can help solve the world's hard problems. So Eric Schmidt is all in on Skynet. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. First, I want to talk about standing up. I used to do almost all my stuff stand up. TV shows, certainly, and the radio shows as well, because and research shows sitting is not good for you. And obviously, people have discovered that with a standing desk. You go into any Silicon Valley enterprise now, half the people are standing up. But not always. Standing isn't always the right solution. That's why I really like these Veridesks. We have some here. Veridesk lets you sit or stand as the occasion requires. And what's really great about it is it'll convert your existing desk to a standing desk without anybody's approval. You don't need to get the boss to say, you don't have to tear out your cubicle. Your Veridesk sits right on your existing desk. And you can have it raised or you can have it lowered. You can stand or you can sit. It comes fully assembled. You just pull it out of the box, put it on your desk, place your monitors and your gear on it. And there's no motor. You can easily raise it because it's cleverly counterweighted. So it's spring-loaded. So it makes it come up or down easily, effortlessly. 11 different height settings, and prices are very good because you're not buying a whole new desk, just a Veridesk. They start at $175 with free shipping in the continental U.S. No wonder Lifehacker named Veridesk one of their 5 best standing desks. It's also been featured on Product Hunt and Gear Patrol. We got a Veridesk Pro Plus 36 at the Brick House, and people now fight over who gets to use the Veridesk. I just love this idea. If you've been thinking about a standing desk, but you're not sure you want to commit, or maybe your place of work won't let you modify your desk, get a Veridesk. It's affordable, it's easy, and when you purchase one, make sure you tell them you heard about it on Twit. That's VARIDESK.com. VARI desk.com. Check it out. It's awesome and simple. We're talking about Google, Facebook, the cloud, all that stuff with Ron Amadeo, Jeff Jarvis. Eric Schmidt says that artificial intelligence will let scientists solve some of the world's hard problems. Certainly regular human intelligence hasn't helped, like population growth. Population growth is another problem. Climate change, human development, and education. AI will play this role. Help scientists understand the links between cause and effect by sifting through vast amounts of information. That makes sense, actually. This was at a New York conference. In the future, Eric says he would like to see Eric and not Eric. Eric is the flesh and blood Schmidt. Not Eric is the digital thing that helps me. Eric's always been a little weird.
I haven't heard some good Eric Schmidt quotes in a while.
It's been a while. We missed you, Eric. Welcome back. Yeah. AI has yet to be proven to be able to do anything, but there's always hope.
I try not to read too much into anything Eric Schmidt says, but
he's just BSing.
Google does a ton of machine learning stuff, and I feel like in the past year maybe they've really come out hard with the machine learning, like advert promotion, I guess you would say, where they'll say, oh yeah, this is machine learning and this and this. So like Google Photos, you can search for stuff in your pictures, like not tags that you've done, but
and that actually works well.
Cars,
right,
and their machine learning stuff, it works well enough that it will show you, pictures of cars in San Francisco.
It's pretty amazing.
You can search for that, and it will nail it. It's really good.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to see him next week at Davos. I can't wait to.
Oh, you're going? Is it already?
Hello, not Eric.
Are you Eric or not Eric? Is it Davos time once again?
It is.
Gosh, that comes around fast. What do you think about Google's home automation ambitions? Because they released the On Hub, which you didn't think much of. Thank you for that review, because I immediately canceled mine. Bought a much better router.
Smart move. It still has not done, these. It has a constant connection to Google and will update. No, there's really been
nothing's happened.
No significant updates yet, really.
It's just kind of an average Wi-Fi router, basically.
But $200, yeah.
Yeah.
So it has all these. Antennas in it that don't do a ton right now.
But someday
they will turn them on. Like I said, they just had their Internet of Things conference this week, and they talked about. So there's Brillo, which is an Android operating system for the Internet of Things, and it's kind of neat. Like you get a dashboard. So all of these Internet of Things stuff right now are really insecure. And this gives you a dashboard, just like on Google Play, where you can see all your devices and push updates out to them. And because Google's doing the software, it will actually get updated. Where like I have some smartphone stuff. I have a smart door lock. I have no idea what software it runs. the software has never been updated. I'm sure there's security vulnerabilities in it, but nobody's gonna fix them because it's just some weird operating system that the lock company made, where this will kind of put security in the forefront, which is important if any of this Internet of Things stuff is going to actually do something. And then they have Weave, which is like a security or a communications protocol, which lets everything talk to everything else.
It's their equivalent of. I was thinking of Thread. Thread's the equivalent of Zigbee and Z-Wave.
Yeah,
Weave is at a higher level than that.
Weave is it kind of abstracts everything where you say you can tell a door lock the door, rather than have to code whatever. It's like a language to make everything
right. So it's independent of protocol, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Brillo, whatever,
cloud, Wi-Fi, everything else. What was really interesting about this conference is somebody asked about Thread, and they were like, "Thread is the Nest team. Don't ask us about it. That's not involved with us."
Oh, interesting.
But in the branding's like there's Thread and Weave, and you would think that they're like connected somehow because the branding's so similar. But no, it's just Nest doing their Nest thing.
The reason I ask about that is that protocol 802.15.4 is built into the on-hub router,
right? Which is also kind of Zigbee and. So people say Google as a company, and the way to think about it is you look at that chart in the beginning of the Google tracker. Those are the groups. It's like the Google group is going to work together, but Nest is in a separate thing in Alphabet. They're not going to work with Google. That's never going to happen. That level of organization does not exist.
So as you write, Thread originated at Nest Lab, now lives as a product of Thread Group, a not-for-profit organization with board members from Nest, Silicon Labs, NXP, ARM, and Yale Residential Lock.
Yeah, so...
Yes, you know what? In other words, home automation is exactly where it was 10 years ago. A mess.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, and so I think for that reason, Thread is not going to do well. Like Brillo and Weave will do well because it's Android and because it's Google, and they'll have the scale. Like this will be like Weave. I said Thread was Google. Weave is Google. So Weave will be on like every Android phone, and the scale will be there. Where what is the Nest stuff got to do? It's got to be on every Nest.
And then there's a Nest audio team.
Yeah, they're doing some kind of audio product.
Maybe
I guess
Sonos.
It's a Sonos clone. Yeah.
No idea. And how about Glass?
Ugh.
Google Glass. So that is actually the second generation of Google Glass. That's the Enterprise Edition that they are from the FCC that they are quietly shipping to businesses. The little eyepiece is longer, and there's a little light on the camera. See the little black dot next to the camera lens. So there's a little recording light, so people can tell you're spying on them.
Oh.
Finally.
And does it join up, or is it just a little thing on your left ear?
There is a glasses part to it, I would imagine. But because this is the FCC, they don't care about that.
They don't care about that.
That doesn't put out radio waves. So
that's just a holder. Okay.
But there's a hinge, which is really nice. So it will finally fold up like a pair of glasses instead of being this big all the time.
Why are you so weren't you excited about Glass at one point, Jeff Jarvis?
I'm a schnook. I'm a schmuck.
You fell for it.
I spent a fortune. I fell for it, and
I'm in a worse position than you. I spent a fortune and I never got to wear it ever.
Yeah, that's right. Jason.
I bought it and Jason Howell has it. That's fine.
I got one too. I have my little glass block. It's number 1499.
Oh, what happened to my block?
I remember.
I have my block somewhere. Where's my block?
But that's the Enterprise Edition, which has no software really. So your company buys it, and it's up to them to develop software.
God, even better. Now so it doesn't do anything.
There is a third generation of Google Glass in the works called Project Aura.
This is the one they're doing with Luxottica.
Yeah, the logo for that came out today on 9 to 5 Google. It's in the dashboard thing. It's a terrible logo. But that is supposedly going to be the next consumer version, where the Enterprise Edition will never see the light of day for normal people, which is good because it doesn't look very interesting.
Well, the logo looks like it's out of focus.
It's a very low resolution one apparently.
Oh, okay. So squint. That's what it looks like. Yeah. It's still terrible. This looks like somebody in
Bad
high school
typography. The
designed
R
it.
isn't big enough.
Yeah, somebody designed it in high school.
So Project Aura, not to be confused with Aura, the modular phone.
Oh yeah, there's an Aura.
So the new version of Google
Aura.
Glass will. What the heck do we know about this so far? Geez, I forget. It's going to come out to consumers sometime this year. They had said, "Oh, it's under Tony Fadell with the Nest team."
Oh,
Well, Tony Fadell is the founder and CEO of Nest right now. I don't know if that means Google Glass is from Nest now. Like the Google Glass team answers to him, and it kind of got rebooted, and nobody really knows what they're going to do with it next. It's just
Jessica Lesson writing at the information says that he's the overseer, and that he did experiment with head-mounted designs at Apple way back when. So this is a wearable with a screen and at least one without a screen. There are 3 versions of the head-mounted device in development. One targeted at enterprises has a screen. We saw that. The others, which is targeted at sport users, doesn't have a screen, relies on audio. So maybe it's just like the earbud.
a Motorola Hint. Yeah.
Like a hint.
Which is not a compelling device at all. But okay.
No, I have one on my desk. Never use it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't
Yeah, I
work.
don't know.
It didn't do anything different than a Bluetooth headphone. I mean, it was supposed to, but it never really did.
Yeah. Also, I mean, what do you want to do with a little voice in your ear, given current?
Well, I
voice
wouldn't
command
mind
headphones?
having Google Now in my ear if it really was, like I could really have a relationship with it.
I mean, well, not having a screen like Android Auto is a good, as weird as it sounds, it's a good idea of an interface without a screen because the car regulations don't let you display like text on a screen, so it reads you everything. And when someone sends you a funny YouTube video on Android Auto, you press it and it reads the message and it goes http:// it just reads the URL out.
Too stupid.
It's horrible.
Too stupid.
Like you need a screen
Yeah.
to communicate people and what is it going to say for your emoji? It's
We
going to
need
say
Jarvis.
smiling. It's going to say smiling poop emoji at the end of
No, but if it were Jarvis, it would be I could interact with it, and it would be maybe Zuckerberg will write this, and I don't mind if it has your voice, Jeff.
That's fine.
I hope it does.
So it'll be grumpy. Jarvis will be grumpy.
Grumpy. Haven't got it yet, but apparently the new Google Maps update will have a driving mode and a widget, a new drive widget that will, just like the Now card, which knows where you go and gives you little hints saying, hey, you better leave now. This will now be part of Google Maps because I wasn't talking. Oh, my God, my Googles woke up everywhere. Not talking to any of you. And I have the driving mode widget. You'll tap that, and it'll say, oh, I know where you go, and based on that, here's how long it's going to take you. You should leave now, that kind of thing. Driving predictions.
Yeah, this would be cool this would be great for Android Auto, actually, where you kind of have that screen, and it's there all the time doing something, so you might as well make it do something useful. Google Now is very good about guessing where you want to drive next. If you just open it up, it'll say, oh, do you want to go like here, here, here? And it would be able to tell pretty well after the first minute of you driving, probably, like where you're headed. So it could be interesting. I think this doesn't work yet. It was just...
well, Android Police had
like,
some hack that you could do. Let me try it.
Well, I think you can get the icon.
Oh.
But it was like they found text in the APK that says it will do this, but I don't think it works yet, actually. Like it'll half work. They need to turn on a bunch of server stuff to make it happen, I think.
First, you need Google Maps version 9.19, so check that. If you have that, then you can just log out of Google Maps, tap the multitasking button on your phone, swipe away, and just close it. Google Maps, reopen it, open this navigation panel. You should see Start Driving, but apparently I don't know if it does anything.
Right, yeah, then what? Like, what does it do? I think they don't have that information because it doesn't work yet.
All right, well, I'm going to do it anyway because I am just that kind of guy. So I've now closed it. Now reopen Google Maps. I guess I'll have to...
Do you have the right version, though?
Well, I don't know. That was too much trouble to look.
I have 918.
Open this up, and I don't have Start Driving, so I probably don't have the right version. They're going to push.
There's also they found text in there for a to-do list, which sounds super awesome, where you could just be like, go to this store, then go to this store, then go get an oil change, then go
Wouldn't
do
that
this.
be good?
Yeah, because a lot of your to-do lists are
destinations,
map-based anyway. So that would be neat.
Oh, that's a good idea. I hope they do that. I have 918. That's why. So you need 919 before you do this. And even then, who knows what's going to happen. Let's see. New weather cards are better, according to 9 to 5 Google. In Google Now, they're colorful. And they have little pictures of bugs. Have you seen these yet?
The end of the old design, whatchamacallit design.
It's now. This is material or more than material?
Material, yeah. That's what I'm asking.
It's more than material. It's
a lot more. It's a lot more colorful, which would be cute. It hasn't happened on any of my.
Why do I have a This Day in Star Wars card? I thought once the movie came out, I would stop getting all of this stuff, but I'm still like on the dark side. I get a lightsaber for Gmail. How do you turn all that crap off?
Is it google.com/Star Wars?
Maybe.
Yeah. I still have a TIE Fighter as my car.
I got it. Yeah.
I turned that on for about 2 seconds, got super annoyed, and was just like,
I turned it on, got super annoyed, and then forgot how to turn it off. So thank you. Please stop. I'm not your father, Luke. Oh, and I have to sit and watch an animation? Okay. You have joined the dark side. I could change the side, but how do I...
change side and put it in the middle.
Put it just me.
Yep, there you go.
Back to default. I don't want either one of your stupid advertising experiments. Your regular Google experience has now been restored.
Great.
Thank you. Jeez Louise. I hope they got millions of dollars. So I don't seem to have these new weather cards, but apparently this is being tested.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does. Like one guy had it on Reddit.
That's the problem with reading these blogs. You get all these scoops, and you want it, but you don't got it. So I'm not going to mention it.
I mean, Google Now could definitely stand to get a bit of color. It's always white square, black text,
right,
and maybe a picture if it's news. But yeah, color's good. Those look cool and colorful, and
they're nice.
I feel like this is Google Now is yet another missed opportunity, frankly.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, yeah, Google Now got fought over internally by what the Android guys wanted it and the Google search team wanted it, and because nobody at Google ever works together on anything, they fought over it, and the people that lost left, and it's just a big mess. Google never works together for anything, which is why these products get successful and everybody fights over them, and then they go nowhere. So they're very disorganized. I mean, the last thing the company did together was Google Plus, and the reason that happened is because Larry Page bribed everybody and was like, "If this doesn't succeed, we're taking your bonus away." And that's
right.
What it takes. That's what it takes to get Google to work as a singular company, to threaten everyone with by taking away their paycheck.
Well, somebody at Google likes yoga, because now when you search for yoga poses, you actually get a knowledge card that has the yoga pose in it. Here's downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Savasana. Let's see, Warrior 1.
Let's see you do it, Leo.
Oh, I can do downward facing dog. Wow.
Oh, there you go. Wow.
Habanash. It says consult a doctor before beginning an exercise regime.
It knows you. It's advice just customized for you, Leo.
Sun salutation. No. Somebody likes yoga at Google. Probably that'll be one of the breakout sessions at Google I/O. Let's see. Anything else here? I'm going through it. You can now get an Nexus 5X for real cheap.
Oh, there's the Google campus in my roundup, which is very sad. They were going to do that weird spider webby.
Oh, they're not doing that?
They
gave up?
I don't know. This is all local politics for you, isn't it? They They went to the city and they asked for the space that they needed, and they awarded most of it to LinkedIn. So instead of building like however many, because Mountain View was going to be like totally owned by Google, and the city, and that like really scared the city. So they gave all the land Google wanted to LinkedIn, and now they have like this crazy visionary campus with reconfigurable buildings, and it's like half indoor, half outdoor,
and nowhere to put it.
And nowhere to put it now. But yeah, it's like this weird glass, like mesh roof.
So come to New Jersey, Google.
God,
there were people doing yoga.
Cliches.
There's some people doing skating, skateboards. This could have remade Mountain View into a cloud kingdom.
Just tear down the old Bell Labs and put it up there.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, the problem the problem with that is they already don't have office space, so bringing office space, like offline for 2-3 years is just not going to fly over there. It does every time I've been. It seems to be in a perpetual state of construction anyway.
Right.
So I don't know. They just need more space.
Is this like the biodome? Is it sealed and it's ecologically recycling, or are those panels open to the air?
It's not sealed. It's like a hybrid indoor outdoor space a lot of times where it's the roof is there to keep the rain off of you and not too much else. They can deploy little umbrellas to block the California sunlight.
I see the little umbrellas.
Yeah.
That's really silly.
And they're on the balcony. There's people doing yoga.
Yeah, right there. This could be the new San Diego Chargers stadium. Somebody get to work.
There were supposed to be robot cranes that could reconfigure the rooms to like different.
They do that in Japan. They have those. They have those modular apartment buildings, and it comes and it moves you into a different place.
Yeah, the whole thing was going to be modular because they're like, this search team has different office needs from the self-driving car team. And they were going to be able to swap all that around, and there were going to be retail establishments where like regular people could walk around and buy stuff.
Wow.
And none of that's going to happen anymore.
Is Project Loon still around? The balloons?
Yeah, Loon is part of Google X, which is just X now.
Right.
Given the name.
I love it that you when you're talking about Calico, your byline is death still isn't cured. So nice try, Google.
That's a tough mission.
It's gonna be a hard
death
one.
Still happens.
Yeah. Google's anti-aging research company.
Yeah. Yeah, rough mission statement to just say we're gonna stop people from dying, and they have not yet. So keep working. Good luck. It's all partnerships with Calico. Like they partner with, I think it was a bunch of different research universities and companies and everything else, and that's it. There's really nothing else to talk about there. A lot of the extra alphabet stuff is just such deep R&D. You're not going to see it for like 5-10 more years.
Right. Project Wing, drone deliveries. Here's Makani, which are flying wind turbines. This looks like a crash, but in fact, that's not. That is the prototype being lifted by a crane.
Yeah, that is a big plane wind turbine thing. So there's a link to a video in there, and when you hear this thing, like it makes these crazy rev noises, and it's like nobody's gonna want that
flying over them.
Yeah, to replace a windmill, and like you have to, when the weather gets bad, you have to like pull it down and park it so that so that it doesn't get struck by lightning and crash. I mean, look how big that thing is. If it decides to not be aerodynamic anymore and slam into the ground.
Wait a minute, though. I don't understand. It's flying, but it's getting wind power. Is there a wire attached to it?
Yeah. So the idea is you take a wind turbine and you stick it really, really high up in the sky where there's more. The air is faster. It's useful in more places because, like wind turbines, you have to have a certain amount of wind.
Right.
So wind turbines tend to be in big empty fields. Where if you just go up higher, the wind's stronger and you can generate power.
It's all blue sky research. I'm glad they're doing it.
But they sound horrible. Yeah, that.
There is something dystopian about 1,000 of those above you.
Yeah, that's just one.
And the other thing is density. So as tall as the wire is, that's also how far apart they have to be.
So they won't collide. Yeah.
So this one, as neat as a lot of the Google R&D projects are, this one has a lot of issues that is just all kinds of wacky.
So does it gain wind power on the when it descends, or how does that?
It's a kite.
I don't get it.
It's like a kite.
It is a kite with wind turbines attached, so it doesn't need. It's not using power to go anywhere.
The propellers don't propel it. The propellers are the wind turbine. Got it. Okay.
Right.
And it's just catching the wind, man.
I see. That is pretty wonderfully. It's brilliantly stupid.
It's just great. You need people to do stuff like that.
Did you see the Da Vinci kind of series that's on TV? I didn't discover it until this week. There's a Da Vinci's Ghosts, I think it's called. It's actually pretty fun, but it feels like, Da Vinci as Google.
What?
Da Vinci's Ghost. Da Vinci's Ghost.
Is that the name of it? Is that the name of it?
Toby Lester, yeah. Tells the story of the world's most iconic image of Vitruvian man. No, wait a minute, that's a book. That's a book.
What more do you want?
Somebody made
it's a TV show.
Somebody made a show out of it. Oh, yeah, it's NPR. Yeah.
No, it's not NPR.
No, it's a TV show. Okay, never mind. I can't find it.
Hold on.
Genius Obsession, and I don't know. Anyway.
No, I started this and I can't help you. Okay.
It's okay. It doesn't matter.
I'll be there in a second. Just give me 1 second. It's
Da Vinci's Demons?
Da Vinci's Demons. No, let's not. It is Da Vinci's Demons, is it?
It is Da Vinci's Demons, yes.
Oh, okay.
Da Vinci's Demons.
Not as Ghost.
Stars. It's a Star show. I just watched the first episode because it was free on Google Play.
I'll have to check it out.
Fun. And science and sex and the same thing. It's perfect for our audience.
Is it the untold story of Leonardo da Vinci? Oh, so it's like a dramatization of his life.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it is. It's fun.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
So far. Yeah.
Apparently, Facebook mentions can now be run on Android.
Yeah.
So those of us who are verified Facebook personalities can now.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I can do mentions now.
No, I know you can. I'm just saying to the rest of the audience.
Oh, for the rest of you. Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I thought you were nearing
I was being
me.
an arsehole.
Well, Ricky Gervais kind of stopped doing it now, so. Facebook mentions. I'm just going to see if I can download this.
Yeah, but you have other people doing it now. So Cenk Uygur from Young Turks, he just turned it on the other day, and he's in a hotel room screaming about how one soap bar isn't enough. I need one soap bar for the tub, and I need one soap bar for the sink. Oh,
please. That's the last thing I want to see.
Oh, I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Really?
I thought I downloaded it. Now, come on, it's not under M for mentions.
No, you have to look for Facebook mentions.
But it's not under F for Facebook either.
Well, I just found it. I'm downloading it right now, so I can.
I downloaded it already. I can't
live
find it.
Stream. Oh, you can't find it on your phone.
Oh.
Google's self-driving cars would have caused 10 accidents if the drivers hadn't grabbed the wheel. So I'm kind of glad they still have a wheel. Google always said, "Oh, those 17 reported accidents, those were always caused by humans." But
those were caused by humans, but there were 10 near misses that were stopped by humans.
Test drivers disengaged the self-driving system on 69 occasions between September 2014 and November 2015. But according to its own...
A lot of that is them being overly cautious.
Yeah. According to Google's simulations, the self-driving car would have made contact with an object on 13 occasions out of the 69 events. On 10 of the 13 simulated contacts, in other words, driving somebody over or something, the system would have been at fault. And 2 of the 10 would have been with traffic cones.
Okay.
Because they had to hand over their data of whenever an override came.
Right.
Which is fascinating. That's one way to test, when did you have to override?
Right.
Yeah, I thought the biggest news out of CES was that what was it? Yahoo Autos said that Google and Ford were going to announce a self-driving
Right. Didn't happen. Was the
partnership.
big news.
Yeah, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But just that they, like, we don't know if it just totally doesn't exist or if they just decided not to announce it. Like, it's hard to believe that they got the report totally wrong. But just the idea that they were going to make a joint venture with Ford that kept Ford like legally safe from all of the self-driving cars legal issues was really cool. Like, that sounded like an actual solution that they could get some car company to adopt, because Google needs somebody to build these cars, and to kind of have a path to consumerization is really neat. But I don't know what Ford's deal was. I don't know why it just never happened, or I don't know, man. It's a bummer. It was really exciting to have the car stuff take a step forward. Because all of this, as much as the weird, we talk about silly gadgets and all this other stuff, but the self-driving car stuff can like actually save lives.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I really think it's going to happen.
Really important. Yeah.
Here's something that I hope doesn't happen. In the state of Kentucky, a lawmaker has proposed a bill that would ban you from posting a video of a horrible accident for an hour after it happens.
That's the stupidest thing on earth. Controlling information doesn't work, fella.
It comes from State Representative John Bam Carney. That's
State
his
representatives
nickname.
are just the pin. That's why I'm sorry to get in trouble now because of your. That's why we want states' rights so people like that can run the world.
Bam Carney would impose a fine of $20 to $100 if you publish a video of any accident or any information identifying the victims of serious physical injury, unless you're the victim, in which case it's okay. He says, it's purely my intent to get a discussion going out there, asking people to be more respectful about what they put on social media. What happens in Kentucky stays in Kentucky.
I don't think legislating Twitter is ever gonna work. Like, good luck. You got to pay somebody to look at all of that and Google where they live and send them a ticket. Good luck with that.
Yeah, you can't. That's prior restraint. There's a whole bunch of problems with that. Good article, I thought, from Stephen Levy, once again writing for Medium, his interview with Bill Ford at CES, in which Bill Ford effectively says, hey, we're pivoting. The Ford Motor Company, which, by the way, was the most successful car company of 2015 in a year in which all the car companies did very, very well, admitting that it's not so much about cars anymore. Ford is, he says, Stephen asks, Bill, can I call you Bill? Is Ford attempting the biggest pivot of all time? And Bill Ford says, no question. No question. So Ford did announce, while they didn't announce the Google partnership, they did announce, for instance, a program to place sensors in motorcycles to map roads in West Africa to improve the routing of healthcare services. They may, in fact, get in the Uber and Lyft business. They have a lot of interesting things. And, they're kind of recognizing
after the
their...
last week?
Yeah.
Go ahead. So when you mentioned Ford...
Yeah.
So Ron, I'm on this constant quest to see if I can't get the car I want.
Ron can help you do it. Ron can help you.
So I went and looked at the Lincoln MKC.
Ooh, nice. Nice car. And?
I don't know.
Are you ready for a Lincoln?
I haven't bought am I old enough? Yeah. I haven't bought a domestic car.
You are.
Since, thanks a lot. Since 1973. That was the last time I bought a U.S. car.
I was looking at the new Lincoln Continental. Because the Continental, I think it has the 2016 Lincoln Continental. It's really
right. So Ron, they all have Sync 3 with the Ford Sync 3, and Sync 3 works with
Sync 3 will do it. In fact, we got an email from one of our listeners who has, I think, an Escape, and he got an email from Ford. He's going to get an upgrade in March.
Wow.
To support Android Auto.
Yeah. So I'm actually working on an article that kind of compares infotainment systems from all the different car vendors. I've had a stream of vehicles.
Oh, fun for you
to make this happen. Yeah. and the level of just complete misunderstanding or incompetence from these car companies when it comes to software, it's so bad.
They shouldn't be writing their own software.
I just had a Chevy Impala, and the software on it looked like a Chinese GPS from eBay from like 1999. I'm talking like the phone icon is like a fully rendered 3D phone with like a chrome ring around the square, and it looks like it just all looks it looks so bad, and it works horribly, and nothing like scrolls smoothly.
So there's an argument though for Android Auto or Apple's CarPlay, right?
Oh, these car companies, like, you're not a software company. Don't make software.
Don't do it.
So Ron,
Google
it's worth it to try to get Android Auto?
Huh?
Hell yes.
Try to get Android
Auto.
Worth
it? Oh, yeah.
Hells
anything.
Yeah.
Android Auto, CarPlay, anything.
But I think in almost every case, if you get Android Auto, you'll get CarPlay. It's just
no. It is separate. Car companies will support one and not the other. It's all over.
But some
the place
cars
right
do
now.
both, right? Because
yes.
I'm not going to buy a car that will not do both because I use different phones.
Yeah, and some car companies have one and have promised to ship a software upgrade to update.
Ford
to the
said
other.
it would do both, I believe.
Okay, so the favorite one I've run into so far is Honda, which bases their car infotainment system on Android 4.0. From 2011. And it has the stock Android browser in it, which you can just use. So, Chrome gets a security update every couple months or every month. And imagine using a browser on the internet from 2011 and the security issues that this thing has, that they just sell like it's 2016 and they sell software from 2011 in these cars. The car companies, they are not equipped to be hardware companies in any fashion. And Ford's just as bad. I had a Ford Escape. The whole system looks like it's a settings page from like it's just white with blue icons and nothing else. And it's slow and weird.
So what are you
going
to recommend, Ron?
Get something with Android Auto. I mean, it's all they're all bad, and even if you try to like really use this stuff, the mapping situation, there are no good map vendors out there. I mean, I
can't find it right now. There, a VW executive, a company we really want to trust right now, went on saying that these Silicon Valley companies don't know how to do this. They can't do mapping and all this as well as we can, and that's why we're not going to use Android Auto and stuff. We're going to not push it in every car. No, your systems suck. Listen to Ron, people.
Yeah, and the worst is the voice commands, where like on a phone you can say navigate to, you can say navigate to Best Buy on your store on your phone. And then on these car systems, you say navigate to Best Buy and nothing happens. And then it will say navigate, and then you have to tell it the city, and then you have to or you have to tell it you want a point of interest first. Then you tell it the city.
Right.
Then you tell it
but
the name
there's
of
a
the point
reason
of
for that,
interest.
Ron. They're not online. They're doing that all with their internal computer, whereas your phone is smart enough to be sending your voice up to the server, and it can then do a lot better job.
Some of them tether to your phone and work online. The worst is Chevy, which has a 4G modem in the car. So the car is a big hotspot with AT&T. So your car has a monthly bill to get data access. And this is the kind of misunderstanding that car companies have, where they say we need to get internet in the car. So let's call AT&T, and it's like nobody wants that. Just tether to my phone.
Right. I already have internet. You don't need to. Yeah, my Audi has 3G on T-Mobile, and they're going to have LTE next year. And you're right. It should all be through the phone, frankly.
Right. They just don't.
I'm going to keep asking Ron, what's the best path to put in? Which manufacturer has the best structure to use Android Auto?
They're all about, if you can find something that supports Android Auto, they're all about the same, because the car system turns off and Android Auto just kind of takes over. But I know Honda will do it, and that's pretty good.
Honda's a good choice. That's a nice car.
Yeah, you can get a relatively nice Honda.
Yeah.
With all of this, they have some cool like automated driving stuff where it'll do radar guided cruise control and kind of stay within the painted lines as you drive along. That's probably been the best one I've seen so far. As terrifyingly insecure as the operating system is, it seems to be the least awful. But it's just all bad right now. And I don't know.
Well, that's why I feel like CarPlay and Android Auto are really the way to go.
Yeah. And even then you have to be careful about the hardware, because the Chevy that I looked at had a resistive touchscreen.
Oh, yick.
I'm talking about you could go to the settings and go to align touchscreen, and they put the little X's on the screen, and you have to poke in each corner and in the center. Because all of the gear they use is from like 2011. Because car companies, they don't understand technology. They move at a snail's pace. It's horrible.
Yep.
But look at so this is from Android's Android Auto website. I mean, these are the...
Oh, but it's BS.
Yeah, these are the badges that they say will be using Android Auto, and it's pretty much everybody.
And the worst, too, is you go into... on Audi, when I was thinking about an Audi...
Audis are very
nice. I went
nice.
into 3 dealers, and I say Android Auto, and they'll say Android Audio.
Oh, Lord.
When are you getting it? They don't know anything. I went online to Twitter and said, what's the deal? And they gave me a bad answer. I tried to go to the PR department of the company, never got an answer.
It's like they don't really know.
These dealers are all idiots about it.
And I think that attitude extends all the way up to the top of the company and the people making this software. It's just nobody there understands technology from top to bottom. And
what about the Tesla media experience? You'd think that'd be pretty good.
I tried a Tesla too.
Is it better?
And no. Tesla is at least interesting. Tesla is at least interesting because it's a big, giant television.
Yeah, it's a 17-inch screen.
In the car thing. But no, it's still this software. I say it feels like ATM software.
Yeah, that's about right.
Where like it is a computer, but it was never designed to make anybody happy or look nice or just work well. It's just not good. It's still not from a software company that makes and when you look at any computer, there is a monopoly on computer interfaces. Well, not a monopoly, but there's 3 companies you can buy a computer interface from. It's Apple, Google, Microsoft, and that's it. Right. Nobody else really makes software like operating systems. You know, if you want a laptop or a phone or a tablet, or it's only those 3 companies.
Yeah, I don't want the Ubuntu car.
Good software. You're right. Yeah, yeah. A lot of these cars do run Linux, and
they're running QNX. Many of them.
they run QNX, Linux, Android. A lot of cars actually run Android.
I don't want Android 4.0 in my car. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I do not.
Well, one of the things in my article is Google is going to make a real version of Android for cars, where like it's the operating system that runs in the car hardware, as opposed to Android Auto, which is just an application that takes over the screen. This is actually
deals.
What if? Okay, I got a solution for you. What if you got a car that didn't have anything, and you put in a aftermarket Android Auto solution? Have you tried those?
Oh, like a
like Pioneer's head unit?
They're really expensive, and they kludge up the car.
Yeah, and they're resistive touchscreens again most of the time. Yes. But you're talking about $1,000 for that radio. Yeah. If your car can even support that, I mean, half the time, step 1 is get a hacksaw and cut your radio out of the car. But that's why I want to see this Google car operating system. It's in their the Google Play documents. Car is an operating system form factor next to TV, watch, phone, and tablet. So there are actually rules for device manufacturers on how to build a car with Android built into it.
Okay, here you go. This is what you do. This is the Pioneer AVIC 8100 NEX. It is a capacitive touchscreen. It does Android Auto and CarPlay. It's only $1,200.
I know, amazing, isn't it?
But you might be able to, it's 7 inches. You might be able to get a deal on a car without any kind of head unit.
And see, this is another company that does not understand technology because what kind of processors in that?
Oh, probably not enough. Yeah.
How much? No, you won't even find that on the Amazon page.
Right.
They don't think it's important because they don't know what any of those numbers mean.
Right. Right. What does that mean? It's 4 volts, 800 by 480 display.
Right. No processor. Is it a Snapdragon? Is it
right? But isn't it the case with Android Auto that the processor is really the phone more than the unit?
Yes. Yeah, but you're still buying a car head unit that runs some kind of operating
system. It has Pioneer software.
It has some kind of Look
at this. This is awesome. It has a remote control you could put right on the dash.
I remember that.
That'll really.
That thing still feels like it's from the 90s.
What the hell? This is not what you want in your car.
So you don't have to lean forward. You can
just tape that to the steering wheel.
Yeah, that's it. That's the other bummer with that. That's not going to integrate with your car. Android Auto and CarPlay and all that stuff, the steering wheel buttons will work.
Yeah.
And there's usually a microphone.
So what should Jeff do? He should just give up and get a car next year.
So it sounds like it's a Ford.
Get a Ford or a Honda. Get something with car, like it's
Ford
all
with
going to
Sync
suck.
3. Yeah.
If you follow the smartphone trajectory, I feel like we're in the Windows Mobile phase right now, where just every piece of software you buy is going to suck. So
I kept my last car for 11 years. And so I don't know if I'm going to keep this one for 11 years.
By the way,
I'll be really old then,
that is the average in the United States. The average age of a car on the road in the United States is 11 years. You're
right in 200,000 miles.
But that's the problem is there's the long design cycle, 3 to 5 years of a car, and then people keep it for 10 years.
Cycle. Yes.
Yeah.
No technology.
You don't use any personal computer or consumer electronic technology that's 15 years old.
And they would make such money for me. I would swap out the consumer electronic experience in the car, every year. Just like I do phones, right? They'd make a fortune from an aftermarket within their own. I'm going to get the
Chevy Bolt.
Yeah.
That
looks kind of nice.
That looks pretty cool. Hey, if you know who Cinnamon Toast Ken, Cutie Pie Marzia, you know who they are, don't you, Chris? Dodger, Emma Blackery, Jack Septic Eye, Jelly, Quibble Cop, and Marky Plier are. You're going to be very excited about this announcement. PewDiePie is starting his own video network featuring those and other great YouTube stars.
The PewDiePie. Next, it won't be long before he'll be running for president. PewDiePie.
He's got 41 million passionate subscribers, according to The Verge, on YouTube. And Revel Mode is going to be backed by Maker Studios, which is in turn backed by Disney. PewDiePie, of course, the #1 star on YouTube right now, who reputedly makes $7 million a year off of his 41 million subscribers. And now he's going to make even more with the PewDiePie network.
Well, he has lasted longer than Peach.
Yeah, Peach is over. PewDiePie lives. When you put Cinnamon Toast Ken together with Jacksepticeye and the rest, you get 100 million subscribers. That's
Nothing
Seinfeld
makes me
numbers.
feel older or more out of touch than any of that.
I know. I love that.
PewDiePie stuff. I just have no idea.
I know. Craig Newmark posted on Facebook asking for permission to
I love this.
Buy a pirate ship. He says, honey,
There's a story of a pirate ship for sale on Craigslist, and there is Craig Newmark just saying, honey, ?
Honey, can I,
the better visual gag.
Can I buy it? For a small fee relative to the local Bay Area home prices, you can buy a ship equipped with a player piano and a saloon, a 3-inch thick, huge dining table made of rich mahogany, 3 bedrooms, a galley, and a full bar, obviously.
Oh, so you could, listen, considering Bay Area real estate, that's not a bad deal.
Yeah. How much is it? Wait a minute. No, then I have switched to a man shot to death in a truck. I don't know how
USA Today is just the worst.
I just completely lost this story. Okay. How much is it? It's a Sultana that's an authentic replica of a brigantine that sailed in the 1700s. Doesn't say how much he wants for it. Make an offer? Oh, $50,000 is nothing.
That's nothing. The problem is, though, I think you have to talk pirate all the time.
Arr! Welcome to... Wait a minute. Lisa? Wait a minute. We've been looking for a new studio space. This is it. I always wanted a pirate radio. This is it.
It is.
50,000. We can own it outright and sail it off. Honey?
Broadcasting live off the coast of San Francisco, Pirate Twit.
Awesome. He actually was hosting kids' birthday parties and private parties on it. But I guess it's been in the Brisbane Marina for 20 years. It needs work, says Channel 5 News, but the bones are good. Oh, man. It would be such a perfect podcast paradise as we sailed the 7 seas in search of Google News.
Right, Jason, pirate radio.
Yeah, what kind of internet would you get on that thing? Satellite
17th century internet.
Well, Leo got great internet on his cruise ship.
Actually, that's really true. The internet was phenomenal on Royal Caribbean. And thank you, Chris Hughes, for buying the New Republic, trashing the New Republic, and then saying, I'm tired of the New Republic, and selling it.
Yep.
What are you going to do? How old is Chris Hughes? He looks like he's 14.
32, I think.
He's so young. He was, of course, one of the Facebook billionaires. And in 2012, he bought what was one of the great progressive magazines.
It had gone downhill itself.
Had it? Well, it was owned for a long time by a real estate developer, who I thought was quite good. But anyway, he says, after investing a great deal of time, energy, and over $20 million, I've come to the conclusion it's time for new leadership and vision at the New Republic. Of course, he decided to make changes, and the entire staff left. When he said we're going to make it what did he say? A digitally facing. We covered it when he had digitally facing network. Crazy. Street View. Here's a fun one. Best things come in small Street View packages. They're doing a Street View of Das Miniatur Wunderland auf Google Maps. It's the world's largest model railway. And Google made a little promo video for how they're going to do it on Google Maps. It's kind of cute. They're zooming into this. Where is this? Obviously, it's in Germany, right? Have you seen it, Jeff?
Yes, I don't know. No, I have not. Yeah, I have better things to do when I'm in Germany.
It's, where is it? It's Hamburg. I'm sorry, Hamburg. Hamburg. So they made a little miniature Street View car. That's kind of cool. It's riding through the quaint streets of the miniature railroad.
Did they really get a camera that tiny?
I guess they did. How can I search for this? Let me go to maps.google.com. And is it Miniatur Wunderland? Oh, there's a link. Of course there is. There it is.
Huh.
That's really cute.
Complete waste of brilliance, but fun.
Why not?
It's an ad. It got us talking about it.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm sure the next time I'm in Hamburg, I'll go there.
Oh, you will in your lederhosen.
I have the lederhosen. I'm ready.
Wrong half of Germany, but that's fine.
I am ready. All right, ladies.
Is Germany the one that super hates Street View and bands?
They should blur all those.
No, you're right. That's the irony. They're going to be blurring the little toy buildings soon.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, your number, your pick, anything you want to talk about. I brought treats. It's Nature Box time. Nature Box is the triple A of snacks. When hunger strikes, don't reach for that half-eaten bag of chips between the couch cushions that tastes like something between salt and sadness. Be prepared with smart and delicious snacks from Nature Box. Black and white granola. Ooh, cocoa and vanilla flavored granola. Salt and pepper pistachios. I could eat those. Those are good. Garden tomato crunchies. The thing about this is Nature Box, our snacks are healthy, always made under nutritionist guidance, never any high fructose corn syrup, saturated fats, artificial colors, or flavors. And they can tailor your snack to your taste. Sweet, savory, spicy, or to your dietary needs. In my case, they've got those delicious pineapples, all the stuff I can eat. The pistachios, great choices. And they come to your door once a month in a box Fuel your game engine with healthy snacks. Visit naturebox.com/twit to get 50% off your first box right now. Slay your hunger dragon with the sword of nutrition. Naturebox.com/twit. Half off your first box right now. That is a good deal. Delish. Now my stomach is growling. Jeff Jarvis, you want to do a number of the week? I already did my pick because I showed that Remix OS. It's free to download. You can put it on a USB key and boot into the x86 version of it. I have another one too. I'll do in a bit. But Jeff, you want to do number? Then we'll give Ron a chance to pick something.
I'll do two of them.
All right.
But actually, first you're going to have to turn off the sound for a moment.
Okay. Shh. Turn it back on. Oh, he's blowing he's sneezing.
Yeah, that's sorry.
He got. You probably had one of those black pepper Nature Box snacks.
That's right. That's right. I'm allergic to the hat.
Choo.
Fizz. I just want to mention one thing, which is Udacity is now offering a job guarantee for 4 of their nano degree courses, nano degree plus. And within 6 months, if you don't have a job in the area you've trained to do, you'll get all your tuition back.
Oh, that is awesome.
Isn't that? Sebastian
That is
Thrun,
so cool.
the founder of Udacity. Son Jake is busy working for Hillary Clinton right now, but otherwise he's
Really? Jake's working for the Clinton campaign?
in New Hampshire. You bet.
Good for Jake.
But otherwise
That's
he's
awesome.
taking the nano degree, and it looks like a good program.
Well, he was a programmer in high school.
Yeah, he's been doing it. But this way, he gets to a certified level of competence in that area.
What is he learning?
He's doing the iOS, I think.
God,
Which
nice.
he's done before, but it's certified.
It formalizes it. No, I think that's really smart. Good for him.
You have a portfolio. The other thing worth mentioning, just for 1 second here, is the other news besides new. You have the New Republic being sold if he's damn lucky. You have the Philadelphia Inquirer was given to a foundation.
Isn't that interesting? A nonprofit.
Yep. They have the HuffPost gave up HuffPost Live, which was their effort to be you and do.
They gave that up?
8 hours a day. It's over. They're just going to do other kinds of video.
That's not good for us because that means people will say, "Oh, you see, there's no live. There's no hope in that."
But my column in the Observer, which was just out today, argues that what they did was they tried to. I'm going to take this off. It's very nice. They tried to argue. They tried to mimic TV news.
Yes, they did. They really did the wrong thing. Yeah.
And then the fourth in this chain of sorrows is that just this afternoon, Al Jazeera America, not that you're going to notice, is folding.
What?
Yep. Because, and the idiocy, they spent $500 million to buy Al Gore's Current TV. Current TV was never figured out. There was no need to have a TV channel for him, and there was no need for Al Jazeera to have a TV channel. They should have done it digitally. Nobody watched it. They hired dull old American TV people to make a dull old American TV channel. But meanwhile, and here's
they could have given me a tenth of that amount. I would have showed them how to do it.
And who cares? Who needs a TV? Who needs channel 876?
It's not right.
Ridiculous. However, under the radar, of course, along came AJ Plus. Now, I wrote a long time ago that video on mobile was going to have to be a silent movie because you weren't going to put it in your headset or play it, I hope, out loud in public. But I didn't see what was coming, which was Facebook doing the autoplay with sound down. And AJ Plus, the youth digital arm of Al Jazeera Plus, was brilliant in still using video.
I see it all the time on my Facebook.
Highly informative.
Yep.
And so here's the number, finally, here's the number of the week. AJ Plus had 2.2 billion Facebook video views last year.
Wow.
And so in the midst of the failure of Al Jazeera America, there's this little rump organization had this nice success.
So what do they do? Captions? How do they handle the fact that you don't have audio?
If you go to their Facebook page and pick one, you'll just see that they tell the story in captions or headlines or whatever you want to call them. It's silent movies. You can still turn the sound on, but I never turn the sound on.
You don't need to.
I often watch them because you don't need to.
Yeah.
There's the real sound doesn't really add anything.
Brilliant.
Fine, you can hear the crowd screaming. I can figure that out.
Right. Yeah. It's really they saw it right away. Here's an example. And yeah, so it's almost like infographics on top of video.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just kind of brilliant.
Oh, cool.
And because of Facebook's autoplay, they get a play out of.
Yeah, those autoplay numbers are rough. So you just watched 2 videos.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
probably I also watched this one and this one.
Yeah, they pump that number up as artificially as possible.
Right.
It's really,
which is
it's
too
really
bad,
transparent.
because then somebody like this who probably does get a lot of views, they're going to be judged to be
not really counted. Yeah.
Well, it said in the article, it said half of them were 30-second views.
Right.
So about half of them are fake-ish.
Right.
30 seconds is maybe a little long, but
I'll take 1.1 billion real ones.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm actually have to follow this page.
Are there ads? Do they get money for that? I mean,
no, because they don't. That's the other thing about it's funded by the was it the government of Qatar or?
Yeah,
Which
but
one?
I mean Facebook's video platform. I never really see ads.
No, not on these yet. Not
on
these.
those video things.
Huh.
I think with the new Facebook deal, you can sell ads, and there's a split. Not as good a split as Google has, but you can put ads on. But that'll have an impact on that. Well, the next thing. So I haven't seen advertisers doing this. I've seen other news outlets copying AJ Plus and learning from that. What you haven't seen is advertisers learning from that and giving you a message without the need for sound.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Ron Amadeo, what do you got for us? A little bit of a pick?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a TV show. I can do that, right?
You can. In fact, I agree.
Yeah, it's called The Expanse. It's on Sci-Fi or the internet, which is cool. You can just click episodes there and watch them all online, which is really neat. So The Expanse is a new sci-fi series. It's kind of if you liked Battlestar Galactica and that kind of stuff.
And who didn't?
Yeah, it's like you're in the future. Everybody's in outer space. There's like 3 kind of political groups that you've been introduced to so far. There's Earth and the Belters, which live in the asteroid belt, and people that live on Mars. And it's a really kind of intriguing look at what near space travel looks like for humans so far. It's based on a book series, so there's all sorts of if you've read the books, which I haven't, there's all sorts of stories coming up that some people know about and some don't. And more factions to introduce us to, but
I'm wondering
it's
if
really
I should read
interesting.
the book first. Steve Gibson, who loves the books, has been very happy with the show. He says it's excellent.
Yeah, there's only about 6 episodes so far, but it's very interesting so far, just because like there's the Belters have the people that live in the asteroid belt. The gravity there is so low that they can't come back to Earth, so they're kind of stuck there. They get treated like slaves sometimes and abused by the Earth government. The Martians are this kind of really hardcore, like military kind of people so far that are really gung-ho about terraforming Mars into a livable atmosphere. Like right now, everybody over there lives in a bubble, and life is tough. And it's really intriguing and fun so far.
The Expanse, and apparently they have just been green-lighted for a 2nd season.
Oh, fantastic! Good. That was my other worry as a Firefly fan and everything else. I'd been started watching this and I'm like, oh God, this is going to be canceled soon, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
no,
that's awesome.
Yep. Gonna get another.
So you got at least 2 seasons of good TV to watch, hopefully.
Something's happened over there at Sci-Fi. They've really upped their game.
Yeah, I was shocked that this was on there. It was like super good because I had heard about it and I'm like, oh, this is going to be on HBO or something because it's pretty high budget. The special effects are decent, and there's really cool technology. Everybody has a glass cell phone, and like the pictures pop off of the screen a little bit, and everybody shares stuff just by going like that. Like it's really fun.
You can imagine that 10 years, 5 years from now. Really, that's not so distant.
Yeah, I always love media like that, like Minority Report and all that stuff that kind of envisions futuristic computer interfaces. It's always a really fun kind of background piece to the sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. Very good. Ron is, of course, the guy to follow at Ars Technica. Really, we love Ars Technica in general, but his coverage...
And we love Ron.
And we love Ron. And his coverage of Android is just fantastic. And of Google, to read his new article, the Google Playbook for 2016 at arstechnica.com. Follow him on the Twitter. What is your Twitter handle?
At Ron Amadeo.
That's
there.
easy.
It's right. It's right.
Ronamadeo.
Yes. That.
Nice.
Yeah, just Google me. You'll find all sorts of stuff. Next up, like I said, I'm doing car stuff, and it's all super terrible, which is fun.
That's the one I want to read, and
Yeah,
because like Jeff, I'm going to be in the market soon. We're trying to figure out.
What are you thinking there?
You know, the Ford announcement got me intrigued. I love my Mustang, and they have some nice.
Yeah,
they have some nice
so maybe
stuff.
go and take a look.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the list for a Tesla X, but I'm thinking maybe that's a lot of money for.
It is
maybe not a great car
for driving 3 blocks from here.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I could really get a Trek. It would be fine.
Don't you don't you have your old?
I have my tricycle. Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Segway.
Segways, got those too, and I might get the new Segway.
When was the last time you used a Segway?
It's rainy around here. We don't ride them much. I love the Segway. I really do, but it's not something you spend a lot of time on unless the weather's really nice.
Graveyard of dead.
Oh, you don't want to see my graveyard of dead.
You must have gotten a hoverboard, right?
Yeah, we got a hoverboard. The kid rides that around.
Is it caught fire yet?
No, thank God no.
But
I admit we unplug it every time we're not home.
Good.
We do not want it to overheat while we're not around. Yep. Tesla Mark II, though, is going to be Mark III, rather, is going to be the inexpensive one, but that won't be in time, I think. I don't know. I think
it'll be was it the Lone Ranger in silver? You can whistle and it'll come to you.
Yes, from anywhere, all around the country.
Have you guys ridden in a Tesla? I had one drive me around New York City, like the automated driving thing. It's super terrifying.
I haven't done that, no.
It's so much fun. It's so awesome. I
have a soft spot for Ford still after many years of sponsorship of the network.
Yeah, maybe they'll come back.
I might. I think, or maybe a Lincoln. A Lincoln is a Ford. With a higher price tag.
Yeah, it is. No, it is. It's just. Yeah.
So what did you find out with the Ford about CarPlay and Android Auto? What did you?
Well, they said it'll have Sync 3, and it's I said so. It's just like the Ford. He said, yeah, instead of it being my Ford, it's my Lincoln.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's that. I was looking at the Audi Q3. I went the smaller, higher up. I was looking at the Lexus NX, which is their small one. I can't afford the bigger one, but it's the smaller one. And then you inspired me last week to go take a look, and it's the equivalent car. So I don't know.
I could go all electric with the Ford. I could do a C-Max.
Oh.
Yeah, Ford's actually, they said they were licensing or they were going to be a platform and send, it's Ford MyLink. They were going to license it out to other manufacturers. Wow. MyLink is like their app platform where you can start Pandora and it will show up on their crappy little car computer.
Don't like that.
They want to license that like the other car companies. That. It's like, Ford, you're not going to be an app platform, man. Get out.
Well, they really think they see themselves that way. That was one of the reasons they were in advertisers, because they really saw themselves as a consumer electronics company as much as
they sound like the typical company that is about to be disrupted and is in total denial. They don't have the skill for it.
Okay, fair enough. But we kick them and beat them up for not doing anything. When they do something, we kick them and beat them up. The thing about Ford, and I haven't used it, but when they advertised on Twit, they were trying,
right?
And I give them that. The problem is it's what you said earlier. The entire industry is built for this long cycle of development, and long cycle of ownership, and no idea of trade. You trade whole cars. You don't trade parts. That cars should be upgradable.
Oh, wouldn't that be cool?
At least Tesla does that. At least Tesla makes things. I don't mean just software upgradable. I mean hardware upgradable.
Right.
And it's a business model. And it means you've got to build things to specs and sizes that have to last, and you've got to be backward compatible, and that gives them a headache, but it would make a huge difference in the industry. I suspect what they want is they don't want you to upgrade your car. They want you to trade in your car and buy a whole new one.
Well, they know that model's is dying, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Personal ownership of cars is going to go away. Hey, we got to run. You guys have been here long enough. We got another show to do. Thank you, Jeff Jarvis. Thank you, Ron Amadeo. Thank you all for being here. We do Twig 1:30 p.m. Pacific, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 21:30 UTC at twit.tv. Please join us live every Wednesday. Otherwise, get the on-demand audio and video after the fact here at twit.tv/twig or on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, because we are everywhere. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week on Twig.